My name is Professor Chris Imumolen. I am from Edo State, Isha West. I was born into a family of six. My father, Ihomogba Imumolen, passed on in 1995. That was when I was pretty young. And I had my educational um, experiences and in Nigeria here, majorly, before we started advancing to other parts of the world. But basically, Professor Chris started as a very young boy who lived a very um, humble life, humble beginning because of the fact that I lost my father when I was 12. So going to school became very difficult and became so difficult to the point that even while I was to get admission into the university, it was so tough that I had to keep writing JAM or what we call it then to get access to the university. Not because I failed, but because there was no money to go to the school. It was very difficult. I was that one student who was in school and could never afford to buy a textbook. I could not even afford to get a shirt for myself. I could remember in school when I wanted to borrow from a friend a textbook, and I told him, I said, I'll give my ID card in case you are looking for me. Just borrow me your textbook. The guy said, say Chris, we know your shirt. You don't need to give us your ID card. But I was always on a single shirt. There was a particular inauguration when I was supposed to be inaugurated as one of the executives in the fellowship. I remember that everything I was putting on was collected from my roommates. My tie, the clothes, the trouser, the shoe. I had none of those. You know, we've had president who said, I had no shoe. Me, I had no clothes. I had no trouser. I had no tie. Yeah. It was in that moment of my life I promised myself, I made a promise to God. Say, God, in this tough season of our life, if you can help me scale through this, and eventually, I don't need to become the richest person in Nigeria and the world. I promise to also give back to the society. I haven't made that promise. Today, you see us float various educational support for Nigerians, and awards, accolades have been coming in. All I was trying to do was to show Nigerians that we can actually aspire. And even if we aspire, we don't get it, that shouldn't mean that we should give up or we have failed. Because that is the background of which I was coming from. Aspiring to become somebody. Today, by the grace of God, I'm not there, but at least I can look back to say that I've also contributed the little I can in terms of supporting humanity with educational privilege, which was one of the very things that I found difficult to get. Today, I've launched our scholarship programs all across the states in Nigeria. I've been doing that for, I think, the platform has given over 500,000 Nigerians such educational privilege, scholarship, low-cost education from primary, secondary, tertiary. You know, I value education so much. I understand the impact of education first to human development. Our mind cannot be developed if we are not educated. The criteria is the economic hardship. You know, we live in a country where we should be sincere. There is a lot of people going through hard times. The inflation rate is high. We have over 20 million Nigeria out of school. We have a population of over 133 million people, sadly, living under poverty. So you can see that for every 10 Nigeria, you should know that 7 of them need scholarship. So we actually make the criteria very low. You know, it's open for all. It's an opportunity for all. In as much as you have the need to be educated, in as much as you want to be educated, you come into our platform, you join the website, you register, and you get the privilege to study. A lot of lives have been transformed by that means. People who never thought they could secure a degree. The other time we had a sports program where the American football, where they did their tournament, and we came in to offer about 133 students just in that program. We offered about 200 something million naira scholarship in that one event for them. We have been doing this all across Nigeria, in the north, in the south, in the east. And if you hear the word JPTS, you know it's a professional institute spread across Nigeria to provide technical training, vocational training, primary, secondary, tertiary training to Nigerians and to Africa at large. Resources is one. Yes, we have been, by the grace of God, been blessed to use our resources to see how we can provide this platform. But we know that there's a lot of Nigerians who also need this privilege. We have spoken to government in our own capacity to see how we can lower the cost of education to Nigeria, and I think that cost funding is one major challenge. Another is, when you get to a particular community, for example, let's talk about Jigawa, a place like Kazaure or Duse or any other place, and you come in to give scholarships. There are already existing businesses who are already running businesses. They naturally will see you as one who is coming in to spoil their business. But we are not doing this for business. The population of Nigeria is the largest black nation in the world. So no matter how many persons get our scholarship, we believe that there will still be people who will still have the fund to go to school. So we are just coming from the humanitarian point of view. We are coming from the point of view of the covenant and the promise that we made to God. For me, I believe that government still have a lot of role to play in subsidizing education, making education affordable. Because it's for our own good. Yes, it's for our own good. Let us look at where we are today. Let's compare ourselves with countries like the West Indians that have actually invested so much in educating its people. We have a Nigerian who just sold a harp, one of the musicians. I don't know, he said $1 billion. That is power of educating. A music upload app. People are now, we are now in the world of robotics, artificial intelligence, and the world is catching up. Nigeria should not be left behind. So I believe that the government should value it. The government should know it. Nigeria should be, at this time, be building satellites of our own by ourselves, not outsourcing it to countries like China or other part of the world. So for me, the issue of value is one of the biggest challenge, and the issue of corruption also is another challenge. The government would say that we've budgeted enough money, but some of these funds do not hit the ground. They do not target the purpose of which it was released for. So once there's a value, once we have a system that drives implementation of whatsoever policy from the Ministry of Education, from the education sector, from the government, it will be key. Then supervision and monitoring of schools is very key to ensure that the right thing is done. Children are taught what they are supposed to be taught. Revamping of our curriculum, digitalization of education. Security, of course, is one of the biggest issues we have. Schools in the north are being shut down in many states because of insecurity. But I believe that if we can run a blended form of education, school can be shut down, but education continues. People are now, children in other parts of the world, now go to school just by looking at their devices. It's passion. Passion is that thing that encourages you when nobody encourages you. Passion is that thing that wakes you up at 2 o'clock. Nobody needs to wake you. Don't need a time alarm to wake you up. When you have a passion for a thing, you don't look for a reward from man. The passion drives you. That passion that a boy that knows nobody, because of education, becomes somebody in life. So that passion is the driving force that have enabled us to establish our schools everywhere and have people study on scholarship. We also have partners with schools in other parts of the world where Nigerians also travel to study by the work of the passion that we have. I was awarded by Forbes as the African Educator for last year, and I think that was informed because of my impact in the educational sector, not just in Nigeria. I also established Global Watch University in Togo. I have schools in Ghana. I have schools in Sierra Leone, and all these schools are giving scholarships to students of those places. You can see we've expanded to this region, and we are doing it quietly. My face is not on any book. It's not saying I'm the one doing it, because I believe the glory should go to God. The reward should come from God. Until now that we now need to start talking our story, because some people like you have identified with us, and you believe the world needs to hear some of these things. So we've been doing this for more than 15 years, and we thank God that God has been so helpful to that. So the award from Forbes is basically because of our impact in education, helping other countries.
Someone told me about the school, so I decided that wow, it's a very good one because it's actually a 3-year program. And when I look at Nigeria's courses and the years that they spent in the university, I feel that this program is more better because of the scholarship. So I decided to apply for the school. I don't know Professor Christopher from anywhere. Someone just told me about the school and I registered directly. So I want to say God bless Professor Christopher Imumolen for all he has done.
I'm a student of business administration. I'm now a graduate. I signed out of recent. I'm a beneficiary of Professor Christopher Imumolen Educational Scholarship. This man has placed us in the system whereby giving us this opportunity to become somebody in life. I came from nowhere. I just met an uncle and introduced me to the system, telling me about JPTS. I enrolled into JPTS without knowing anybody. Now, God has placed me in this position. Now, I'm the SOG president of this noble institution, and I'm here to tell the world that JPTS is great. Dive into this institution and become great in life as well. And we are here to say thank you to Professor Christopher Imumolen for placing us in the system, for giving us this great opportunity to serve.
I came to know about JPTS when I wrote a scholarship exam right here in Oyo State, in which I was picked to be a beneficiary of Professor Christopher Imumolen Educational Scholarship. Today, I'm done with the course, and then I'm now a graduate of JPTS and Oil and Gas Management.